I don't think the batteries in this thing work. I can't even find the button you press. What the heck? Wait, oh, yep, they don't work. Dang flabbit! Come on. Let's talk about Lady Gaga wearing Michael Jackson's military jacket. Because, you know, your girl doesn't really know if it is really Michael's jacket. Anyways, Jim Hutton's book about Freddie called Mercury and Me. And this old ugly sewer rat named Martin Bashir. Hey guys, what's up? As you can see, I'm still very much festive. I got my beads on. I got my ugly sweater. You already know. So today I'm back with another Let's Talk video. I just love doing these because I feel like I can get a little crazy in these, but you know, it's a little more casual and a little less crazy maybe than my usual videos, you know, my commentary videos. So I have 3 things I want to talk about today. I'm gonna just save the best for last because the last thing I'm gonna talk about is basically me ranting. It's gonna be a good one. I'm actually thinking of like making a whole video separate to this over this certain individual, but we shall see. We're gonna first talk about something that someone mentioned in my last Let's Talk video, and I never got around to talking about it, and I should have because I'm behind now. But this happened a while ago, but you know, I'm gonna talk about it anyway because that's typical me. So the first thing we're talking about is Lady Gaga wearing Michael's military jacket, and I actually don't know if it's his actual jacket or if it's just, you know, a jacket that kind of looks like what Michael had. I think she looked great in it, personally. I don't think she's ever said like how much of an inspiration Michael was to her, but I think if you're pursuing like anything, whether it's dancing, singing especially, or just performing, I think you should definitely have an appreciation for Michael because Michael literally changed the game, you know? And I think she definitely does appreciate his genius and how fabulous he was and still is today, because let's be real, even though Michael's gone, there is still no competition. Like, there could never be competition against Michael. Anyways, moving on. But I think she looked great in it. A lot of people were like, you know, she should not wear that because, you know, that's Michael's, it's not hers, she can't just steal it. But I feel like if anything, personally for me, and you don't have to agree with me on this, but I feel like she was, you know, showing respect to him, and it was kind of just a tribute to Michael. I don't feel like she was trying to be like, I'm wearing Michael's jacket, or maybe I'm not. Again, I didn't really research that much into it, whoops. But I don't feel like she was trying to take Michael's place or anything. I feel like it was just, hey, I love Michael and I love his style and his fashion as well as the performer he was, and this is my way of honoring his legacy. And I feel like she did a great job with that. And she looks really, she looks beautiful. Like, when she lost all that weight again, I was just like, yes, Gaga. And her new album, I like it right now. Okay, so this next thing is something I've always wanted to talk about, and I was actually thinking about giving a review on this book, but I feel like it wouldn't be that long of a video by itself, so I've decided to just put it in one of my Let's Talk videos. So here we go. I'm gonna talk about Jim Hutton's book he wrote for Freddie. I read this book over the summer actually, and that is crazy because that was that feels like so long ago. Especially now since it's like in the 40s, sometimes in the 30s, that is too much. I do not like being cold. I saw these text posts on Tumblr of entries from Jim's book, and I was like, this is the cutest thing I've ever read. Like, there were some cute ass moments in that book with him and Freddie, and they really get me in my emotions. So Jim wrote this book about his time with Freddie and what Freddie was like and all this stuff. If you don't want any spoilers, stop watching now because I'm about to go into this book. Like, if you still haven't read it and you want to read it and you don't want me to give anything away, just skip this part. I will put down here what part to skip to so you don't hear me talking about it because, you know, I sometimes give things away. Starts out, they meet at a club, at a gay club. Now, this is the thing. this is how Jim's story goes. Now, you know, there's tons of different sides to the story, which is why I sometimes have a hard time getting into this book, because I really want to like Jim. I really want to feel like Jim was there for Freddie and Jim loved Freddie. I really do, because I feel like he did, but at the same time it's like people can write anything. Like my boo Michael has taught me that people will write anything and it may not be true, and you can't always believe what is in print, you know what I'm saying? So I really love this book. I just hope he's telling the truth. I feel like he is, but you know, I just hope he's telling the truth, because it's a really good story, but if he's not, then it's sad. Anyway, he meets Freddie in a gay club, and Freddie of course asks him, how big is your cock? I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what Jim said. Eventually, it gets to his final days with Freddie. It's a really touching book. It really shows that Freddie wasn't perfect. Like, I know I'm always like, Freddie is so perfect, Freddie's this, that, and the other. It shows that Freddie has issues with himself. From what Jim said, you know, Freddie had a temper and he could, you know, he could get pissed off pretty quick. I know I have that problem. I'm not about to sit here and tell you I'm an angel from above. Freddie was actually really shy and just a sweet little being, you know, but how he could also be like, Jim, get out of my house, you know. He kicked Jim out. I think he kicked him out once or twice. Freddie was a little feisty in this book. If you want to know like what the whole book is about, I'm about to give you a summary, okay? Once again, if you don't want spoilers, leave, because I'm about to tell you what this book is all about. Oh, okay, this is the biggest thing about the book though. This is what half of the book is about. Freddie wants to buy literally everything. Literally everything. Every time Jim and Freddie go somewhere, like they're usually gonna go shopping, right? And they'll walk into a store and Freddie will be like, how much is that? Is that for sale? How much is that? Like, I'm surprised Freddie did not walk into a store and like point to the fan on their ceiling and was just like, is that for sale? Because I love Freddie, but that part cracked me up because literally every chapter Freddie was buying something. Another thing that happens a lot in this book is Jim gets cats for Freddie like all the time, and Freddie's always like, I don't want another cat, and Jim goes off and buys another cat and Freddie's like, I'm gonna kill you, but in reality we know Freddie wanted another cat and he's just lying to himself. A couple of times Peter is mentioned. You know about Freddie's personal assistant, Peter, which they call Phoebe, and Joe, which is his cook, and they're mentioned in there a couple times. Jim also talks about Mary in this book, and he doesn't really care for her much. You know, he basically says, like at the end of the book, that she kicked him out along with Peter and Joe after Freddie passed away, and they really have nowhere to go. And that was just really sad. But this is the thing, like overall I love this book, but you just never know who's really telling the truth, because I want to believe that Jim's telling the truth because it's a sweet ass story, but at the same time, like, I don't know how to feel about Mary. Like, I feel like, you know, Mary had been there since before Freddie became Freddie Mercury, you know what I mean? So she had been through a lot. So she kind of had been there from the beginning, and Jim just kind of came later, you know, when Freddie had all this money and all this fame, and like, I don't want to think that that's the reason why Jim stayed with him, but at the same time, it's like, you know. So I don't really have, like, some people choose Mary's side of the story, and if you didn't know this, Mary Austin was someone that Freddie was with for most of his life, pretty much like the only woman in his life besides Barbara. I don't know, I feel like I want to love both of them because I feel like they both helped Freddie in his life, and they both helped Freddie, you know, feel like he was loved. And I think if you can do that, then I like you. If you made Freddie happy, then I can appreciate you. So I really love this book. It's called Mercury and Me. I forgot to mention that. It's called Mercury and Me. Wow, I didn't even mention the title. It's a really good book and I would read it.
I like totally drew a blank while trying to explain this book, but basically another two things you need to know about this book. Jim gardens literally everything. Like, he is hoeing that garden. He is putting in work on Freddy's garden and he made it look bomb as hell. And one more thing, Freddy told Jim to build all kinds of shit. I don't know why, but he did it. He made a freaking table, and loads of other things, so that was another big part of this book. Anyways, okay, spoilers are done. You're welcome.
If you skip to this part, the spoilers are finally done. Alright, the last thing we're going to talk about is this guy named Martin Bashir, and when I say that, some of you probably get chills, and not for the good reasons. You guys probably are feeling some type of way just by the mention of those 2 words. Okay, first of all, the guy was a total prick. Screw him. Honestly, he was the most two-faced person probably ever. He was the one that interviewed Michael, and he lived with Michael for like a couple of days. He was really nice to Michael, but then as soon as, you know, he's not around Michael, he starts talking about Michael and being really rude and judgmental. And even like when he's with Michael, you can tell he's hardcore judging Michael. Like Michael was talking about, you know, Neverland and all that stuff, and he's just like, yeah, that's weird for an older man to be hanging out with all these kids. Like, no one, this is the thing, people try to judge Michael, but no one had a life like Michael. No one had been through the stuff that Michael had been through. No one has ever lived a life like Michael Jackson, so therefore you cannot explain why Michael does what he does because you don't know, you haven't been there. So, Michael talks about how sad his childhood was and all this stuff, but Michael never really went into tons of detail about what he really went through. I mean, his father was a jerk to him. Michael's father made fun of him, you know, made fun of his acne, made fun of so many different things about him, and just made him feel terrible about himself. He went to go on and have the surgery, and then Martin Bashir is judging him for the surgery he's had, and I'm just like, sit your Martin Bashir, he is not even good looking, and he has the worst personality. Like, it really kills me because he's sitting with Michael's kids, like talking to his kids and just being fake as ever, and I'm just like, you can go sit down because he's just a fake person. And again, if you want me to make a whole rant video on Martin Bashir, I totally will, and I might also include like some other people like Barbara Walters, because she kind of pissed me off a little bit, and Lisa Marie, she kind of pisses me off. You guys probably know about that. Yeah, she kind of pisses me off too. Anyways, it just kills me when people try to be friends with Michael and they fake it, and then they talk tons of crap about him, and he's left to pick up all his little broken heart pieces by himself. And Michael didn't deserve none of that. Michael is probably the sweetest guy that ever walked the freaking face of the earth. You know, wouldn't hurt a fly, was so humble, was so nice to everyone around him, loved his fans, and he just didn't deserve it, and it just pisses me off when people take advantage of him. The end. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have a couple of little announcements to say before I go. First of all, Hannah is coming on Saturday. I'm so excited. If you guys know, in my mixtape, I mentioned this girl named Hannah who be loving her bananas, and she is like my best friend ever. Like, we met online, we met on Vine, we started talking. That rhymed. We started talking, and she lives in Texas. She's over 12 hours away. She's flying here on Saturday to come meet me. I'm so excited. We are going to make tons of videos together. We're going to vlog. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. It's going to be amazing. Caitlin, Olivia, Taylor, and probably Jacob are going to be here as well when she gets here. We're going to make tons of videos. They're going to be hilarious. It's going to be amazing. I hope you guys are as excited as I am, because I can't freaking believe it. I cannot wait to see Hannah in person. Also, I'm thinking about making t-shirts, and I want to do them as soon as possible because Christmas is coming up, and I want to make sure that you guys can order them for Christmas. Maybe ask your family, like, hey, can I have this for Christmas? But I want to start making t-shirts because someone in the comments section inspired me to start making t-shirts, because they said you should totally make a t-shirt with disrespectful written on it, and I was like, okay, that's freaking genius. So I'm thinking about making t-shirts to sell online to you guys. Just let me know if you'd be interested in that, because I will totally do it. And that's basically it. Christmas is among us, you guys. Yes. I'm so festive and ready. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great week.